we finish with the for loop with the various kind of counter. So I give the explanation in this slide. So you can take a look. The definition of counter. So it is set to an integer representing the number of times the loop has been entered. If it is counter 0, then it is like the for loop counter except it's 0 index. So its value will be set to 0 the first time through the loop. So when you start the loop, it will be based on 0. But if you use just counter, then the index will start from 1. The same with counter, we have the ref counter. It means reverse. So this reverse is counting from the last into 1. If you have ref counter 0, then it will be from the end of the element until 0, or it is a decrement. If you have first, it means the first index or the first element of the loop will be true. If you put less, then the last element will be true. And we have parent loop. It depends on the nested for that you want to build. So the parent loop will be the basis to make the next loop. So we already learned how to do this one in the example in Django. If you are doing with Python, whenever you do with the for loop, you may have the break and continue. So if it is break, it means when you run, your loop can stop in any condition. If the condition is true and you put the statement break, then the loop will be finished. However, in Django, there is no support. Okay? There is no break and there is no continue. So it means you need to think if you want to break in the middle or if you want to skip some of the values, then there should be another mechanism in the for loop. There is another kind of if, we call it if equal, if not equal. If equal is a tag to compare two values and display everything between the if equal and if equal. It will be shown if the values are equal. The same with the if equal. If it is not equal, then you can use if not equal. When you use the if, you can have the else. If equal also have else statement. Now let's see with another kind of function. Okay, let's make this into 3 parts again. So you have the views.py, and then you have urls.py, and you have HTML. Okay, so these 3 basics, please do not forget. Let's have the function and let's put it into the views.py. Okay, you can put below part of this. We have a function if equal function, and we have one parameter which is request. You have var A which is 6, we have var B which is 5, and then if you call this function, you will run this HTML file, hello if equal. And then I will just put the context var A and var B here. And for the URLs, let me put one line, okay, which is the link for. So I can put one more line, which is for. So when you call for dash, you will call this function. And this is the HTML file. You can copy this HTML and make the HTML file hello underbar if equal. So you can make this template. Make a new HTML file hello underbar if equal. You can delete and replace with the code that I give in the PPT, and you can check here. If you are doing with the if equal, you have the Django tag, which is using the curly bracket and the %. And now you are using the variable A, variable B, which is the variable from the backend. And you want to check whether the variable A and the variable B is equal or not. If it is correct, then you will print var A equals to var B. If it is not equal, yeah, you can also do the same with var A and var B. If it is not equal, it will be shown in the web browser. Let me run. So I can just go to the polls, and then I want to test the link number 4. Okay. The link number 4, we have the if equal, and then here it mentions 6 is not equal to 5. Let's suppose I change the value in the views. Let me change 5 and 5. You can see that 5 equals to 5. Okay. So that's the basic template in Django. You understand the if, you understand the for loop, and we also have the if equal. And you know how to open the HTML file in Django. We will learn more about the Django template. I already uploaded the file. So this will be the file for the additional template. There are some advanced template, and let's learn how to deal with this advanced template to handle various kind of web page. The first is the template filters, and we are going to learn about the template inheritance, and we are going to learn more about the front end, how we deal with the front end. First is about the template filter. In this section, I'm just teaching you how to use the naive function. There are many functions that you can use, but let's use the very basic one. The template filters are simple ways of altering the values of variables before their display. Let's say if I want to print the name, and I do not want to print directly the name, but I want to change the name into the lower case. So this kind of function can be done using filter, and it will be separated by this vertical line. This displays the value of name variable after being filtered through the lower filter, which convert the text to lowercase. You can use the pipe or this vertical line to apply a filter. Filters can be changed, or you can have multiple filters. That is, the output of one filter is applied to the next. Here is a common idiom for escaping text contents and then converting the line breaks to P. For example, this one, I have my text, and then I will do the filter escape. So escape, I will skip some of the text, and then I give line break. I go to the next line. So every of the single text, we go to the next line. Every single text, we go to the next line. Or we can have, like this example, I want to print the publication date. And the publication date that I want to show in the web browser should follow this kind of format. So there is an F, J, and Y. So this is the format according to the day, the date, and the year. So these are the format strings. I will not discuss all, but if you need later on for formatting in the web, you can use this one. For example, F, big F. The big F indicates the month textual long. So you want to show what is the current month in the long words like January, February. But some of you might have only the 3 letters. So you can use M, which is Jan, referring to January, maybe Feb, referring to February. Or maybe some of you want to use number with 2 digits. So you can use the small m. Or if you want to use month without leading 0, so you can use the small n. Yeah, there are some format characters you can use for the date. If you're dealing with the time zone, actually you can also do same with the date. Yeah, there are some format character like T. So this T means the time zone, what you want to refer to. Maybe if you're in Korea, we use KST to refer to the Korean Standard Time. If you are dealing with the W, yeah, it is related with the weekday. So 0 means Sunday, 6 Saturday. If you use the small y, it is year 2 digit. If you use the big Y, the year in 4 digits. So let's see if we are using this filter function. Now let me use the folder polls. Okay, I will just use the folder polls, and I will make this function. In this function, we have the name, which is referring to the Hak Yongin, and then I have weekday referring to every day in a week, and I would like to use the hello filter, and I want to put this variable later in the web browser. After I have the views, I need to renew the urs.py. So I will just use this link number 5. And yeah, I need to update the HTML file. Let's make a new HTML file, which is hello underbar filter.html. Hello underbar filter. So in this case, we have some values from the variables like name, and then I have I, and then I have weekday, and yeah, we have some filtering here like lower, first, upper. If you run this, you can see in the filter example, the half yongin becomes lowercase. Okay, based on the code here, I want to use the name and I want to make it as a lowercase. For this one, I want to do loop from I throughout the elements on the variable weekday. And let's print the first and let's make it an uppercase. You can see M, T, W, T, F, S, S. So all are in the uppercase. We have the data like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday. And we select the first one. We select the first letter. And then we put the first letter as an uppercase. Next is we are going to print the weekday. And then again, we want to print the first letter and uppercase. You can see it is Monday. Why it is Monday? Actually, this is not the first letter, but the first element. The first element from weekday is Monday. And I want to make it all of them are in the uppercase. Here, weekday. So I want to print all the data on this list. You will see the data on the list. And I want to see now. Now is the date. And here is the format that I want to see. We have J, S, F, Y, it's colon I. So you can see this one. It is 29. And then we have F is the month, which is March. Y is the year. And then H is the time. Colon to I is the minute. Why it is 6? Because it is using the central time, the UTC time, not the Korean time. We didn't set up the time zone. So this is the meaning by filter. Yeah, you can refer to the other kind of format character if you are going to apply some of these characters into your web page in the theme project. Yeah, you can select what is the best filter. Okay. Yeah, like this one, J is day of the month without leading zero. And we have S is the English ordinal suffix for day of the month or character. So when you define or this format character, it will be shown according to this kind of table. Okay. Now we entering the next section about inheritance. If you learn Python, we learn about the object-oriented. If you learn Java, Java is also an object-oriented programming language. And the concept of inheritance, it is based on the object-oriented. There is an inheritance in Django, but the idea is not the same with the object-oriented. So let me tell you what is the meaning by the template inheritance in this case. In Django, the template inheritance is the most powerful and thus the most complex part of Django template engine. So we call it, this is the template inheritance. This template inheritance allows you to build a base skeleton template that contains all the common elements on your site. And it will define the blocks that child templates can override. So there are two kinds of inheritance in this Django. The first is include and the other is extend. So those two are the basic template. If you want to understand other inheritance, yeah, you can refer to the documentation. So these two are the basic one, and I think many web pages using Django, they try to use include and extend. Include. So it loads a template and renders it without the current context. This is a way of including other templates within a template. The template name can either be a variable or a hard-coded or quoted string in either single or double quotes. Okay, I think we will see later the example. If it is the extends, the extends tag is the key here. It tells the template engine that this template extends another template. When the template system evaluates this template, first it locates the parent. Okay, now I'm going to make an inheritance and I will use include. For now, let's make a new folder block under the folder templates. And let's create two HTML files, nav.html and datetime.html. So this is the two HTML file. So under the template, let's make a new directory and we can name it as block. And in this block, let's make two additional HTML files. We have nav and we have datetime. The first HTML file, this is the nav, it will be the base. Let me just copy and paste. I make it as a very simple HTML file. So in the space, I have nav. Nav is a navigation. So you can see this explanation. Nav is a navigation and it will be the navigation to understand where will be the next HTML file or what you want to do after you have this navigation. Let's say I have home, blog, contact, and carrier. This will be the navigation of your web page. And then I have the datetime.html. Let me just copy and paste this one. So I have the datetime.html. In this HTML file, I just declared the title as just title, but you can see I'm using include. So there's one template inheritance here. I would like to call the block nav.html. Next, I would like to update in the views.py, and this is a function that you can put on the views.py. Let's make a new one. I guess you know about the date time. Yeah, before this, we have one import function date time, and I would like to know what is the current time. So now means the current time. And I would like to load the block datetime.html. Whenever I call this HTML, I would like to pass the time. And let's make a new path in the URLs, and the path will be today. Okay. Once you have this, you can check. You have the navigation, home, blog, contact, carrier. And then you have the current time. This is March 29, 2022, and then this is the 4 o'clock. And your current scheme is HTTP. How can you deal with this one? When you access the date time, okay, you need to include one HTML file. So what is the HTML file? So I want to include the nav.html. The nav.html is this one. I have a href, and I have the home. If I click home, it will go to this link, but now I'm just keeping the link as the shop. Okay? So I don't have any information here. Blog, contact, carrier, yeah, they are just giving I just give the shop. So every time I call the date time, I will include this navigation. And this navigation will be in the top. This navigation will be in the top. And this is a comment, and this is also a comment. Okay. Now you can check here. If now, then the current date and time is now. It means I know that there is a variable now, and now is not an error. Now is a variable that contains a value. So I can print now. That's why I will print the current date and time is blah blah blah. However, if there is no variable now, then we will print now variable is not available. For example, if I change this into now one, if I change to now one, then the result will be now variable is not available because I cannot find where is now one. I only have now. And the current scheme, I would like to know what is the current protocol or the current schema that we use in the web browser. If you check on your web browser, it will show HTTP. So this web is using HTTP. When you use the include, now you will see in this today is your loader will call the datetime.html. So you will not call nav.html. Okay. So nav or navigation.html is only to put a kind of template, and it will be called by the datetime.html. Okay, so that's the first about the include. Now, how if we are going to use extends? In this example, we are going to see the template setting using base directory. And there will be two HTML files. One of the HTML file will use extend for the inheritance of the particular text into other file. Now I'm going to check. I'm going to make a new block, a new folder, and let's make it block 2. And let's make this folder under the folder templates. We are going to create 3 HTML files: base, home, and block. So I will make a new folder, block 2. And I need to create 3 HTML files: base.html, home.html, and block.html. Base, home, block. Home, block. Okay. We have 3 files: base, block, and home. For the base.html, let's copy and paste this one. I will explain after we finish copying and pasting the code. The home.html, we have this code. And for the block.html, we have this code. After we have the HTML files, now I'm going to create a views.py. In this views.py, in the folder polls, okay, I'm going to make a new kind of setting, and yeah, copy and paste this one into the views.py. You can put in the below part. Now I have the Django.conf import settings. I'm still using the datetime function, so I want to know what is the current time, and I'm using the block2 home.html, and I'm still using the two variables, the first variable is now, and I have the second variable base dir. So base dir is the base directory of your Django. If you look at this base directory, you will see this is the code. So it refers to the directory that you're currently using in your Django. I will add more information, which is about block. So in the views.py, I will make this function. Here I would like to put the writer name as Bernardo, and then I have a variable temp. It will load the block.html. The first home is to load the home.html. Now for this information for the home and block, please refer to these two links. Okay. These two links, we have home referring to the home and the block referring to the block. So we have two links. The first is linked to the home and the other is the link to the block. Now let's see. So I'm going to check the result by going to home. You can put the link home. Now we have the navigation, we have the time, and we have the base directory, and we have the footer. If I click block, then you will go to another HTML file, and this HTML file containing a message that this block is written by my name. Okay. Now for the other link, there is no information about the possible file. So there is no such thing, but you can go back to home to see the result of home, and you can go back to block to see the result of block. Okay, so this is a very simple template. Okay. I didn't use any CSS. I didn't use any style, so you can understand clearly about the function. So let's see what is home. In the home, I just put the same as the code before. We want to get the time now, and we are going to use the home.html, and we have two variables, now and this here. For the block, I have a variable writer, and the writer name is Bernardo. So you can change the name, maybe your name. Okay? And I'm going to access the block.html, and the information of the writer later in the web browser will be based on the writer in the backend. After I have this, I would like to check what is home.html. In the home.html, we are going to extend block to base.html. What is base.html? So the base.html is containing about the Django information. Here I have the title. The title is the Great Django block. You will see the title Great Django block. Okay. And I put it into the block title of Django. In this case, I have the navigation. Now I put more complete information. The information here, I would like to go to home if this home is clicked. So where is this home? If you press the control button in your keyboard and then you move your mouse here, you can click home and it goes directly to the name home. In the web browser, they know the home in your URL. And because it refers to this name, it is connected to this home function. So you can press control and you can click here, then it will go to the back end, the folder, or the function home. So this is the extent. I'm going to use the base.html as the base or the basis. So we can see the navigation. But what about the content? You need to put the contents like this one. So every time you have the content like home, or if you have blog, you can see now this is the blog content. So the content is here. The content of home is this one. It means you will have the header or the navigation. You will have the content in the middle, and you will have something in the bottom. What is in the bottom? If you go to base, this is the content. So you have the navigation, you have the content in the middle, and okay, you have footer. Okay, this is footer, and this is the navigation, and this one is the block for the content. And whenever you apply the content, so the content can be changed. What is the changes? Yeah, if you call the home, the content will be this one. If you call block, the content will be this one. Okay. That's how we can reuse the extents. It is the basis of the object-oriented, but now it is working in Django. Okay. So you can see that the navigation will be always the same. Okay. The navigation will be always the same. However, the content, the block content, will change according to the link that you press. And what about the footer? The footer keep the same because it is the definition in the base.html. If you go to the base.html, it will always be the same. And you have the its r. What is its r? It is the ruler, okay? Line. That's why you can see the long line here. Okay. Okay, I will stop.